behalf of the city. I know that the Team Punta Gorda and many organizations and participants was a wonderful event. And I'm looking forward to when all these are going to be, all the speakers that we are taping, that our video recording, that we are going to put those up on the website. Do you have any information about when that will be?
We just received the tapes ourselves yesterday, so I would say within the next day or two, we'll get those up, and I'll put a notice out on Facebook and let everybody know that those videos are available on our
Okay,
website.
because I've had a number of residents want to review those, didn't get to see one, heard it was really good, so thank you all. That's what I have, so we'll go to council member comments. Debbie?
Well, next week, starting on Thursday, I'm going to be attending the Institute for Elected Municipal Officers in Jacksonville. I want to thank the city for affording me this opportunity to make myself more informed and perhaps better represent the people of Punta Gorda.
Excellent, congratulations. That's a good class.
I hope so. Looking forward to it.
Gary?
The only thing is just to give a heads up, and depending on agenda items, in either the end of February or March, I'm going to ask your folks' support to donate the retiring laptops and tablets to the Charlotte County Computer Group, with the exception of the 3 that will be retired from the police department. I would like to see asked if they would be considered to be given to the GAP program. The publicity that we gave the GAP program was tremendous. They got up to a great start. They now are not in need of the regular laptops because it's actually more efficient for them to buy Chromebooks, and they've done some incredible out-of-the-box things for them. But the laptops that the police use, once they're refurbished properly, have a specific benefit to the kids that are in the STEM program. Because they're a more powerful laptop. So what I'll be asking, and unless you have some other charities to consider between now and then, to also bring forward for consideration, I would be asking that we continue this program to use our retired laptops and computers to benefit charitable organizations in Charlotte County. Again, I just want to emphasize how incredibly successful the GAP program has been. I'll give you an example, because they've been able to raise a lot of money, and a lot of it had to do with the initial publicity they got here. But they've expanded a little bit. They have a situation where some rural kids, they literally have an hour 15 to an hour and a half bus ride to get home. And they were having some serious discipline problems on this bus, to the point that they were putting 2 additional adults along with the driver on the bus. The GAP bought them all a Chromebook, put educational games on the Chromebook, and the discipline problem evaporated. It went away. You just had to keep the kids entertained for an hour and a half, okay? And give them a Chromebook, and they're excited, and then they can do their homework if they want, or they can just play an educational game on the way back. So that organization has taken off, and I want to thank the support from council in helping and getting that publicity going, and the initial donation of retired computers, because it was a great help and is benefiting the county to this day. So again, thank you, and I'm just giving you a warning, I'm back up, and that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks. Lynn?
I have a couple of things. First of all, I don't know if anybody else is having a hard time hearing with these new microphones, but I sure am. And I would like to see if we can't do something to get them more vocal so we can hear when people are at the podiums.
Yes, I would
It's-
agree.
It's pretty bad. I don't have the greatest hearing to begin with, but I do usually hear. When we had the old microphones, I could always hear it. With these, I cannot. So I would like to see if we can fix that.
I'll let you know that we did have the audio company come in and turn them up as most they could before it created feedback. And I felt they were a little better, but we also have them, they're going to be submitting a proposal for some changes, including an additional speaker closer to you and things like that. So we're just waiting for them to submit those, and
Okay.
IT we're working on it.
Good. I appreciate
Okay.
that. I sit on the MPO board. I'm no longer the rookie on the board. Apparently, the Airport Authority just voted last week to appoint Paul Andrews from the Airport Authority to sit on the MPO board instead of James Hurston. So Commissioner Andrews will now be sitting in on that board. And we have a joint meeting with Sarasota-Manatee County at the end of this month. So if there's anything the city would like me to bring forward for that meeting, I would love to have that information. I met with the police chief and command staff last week to talk about the resurrection of the Neighborhood Watch program in the city. And I'm going to send Howard something to put in this week's newsletter, but I would ask that all of you include it in your newsletter when you send it out this week, and maybe for the next couple of weeks. We're looking for block captains who wish to serve. It's not going to be an interventional kind of a thing. It's just for information sharing, to pass along press releases that may come out from the police department, things that people need to know about in the community to look out for. We've had a couple of reports of some minor incidents where there was somebody that rang doorbells who was looking for someone to play with. A young teenage boy was looking for someone to play with, and then the next thing we saw was that screens were slashed on that person's lanai. So concerning things that a lot of citizens have reported, and so we're looking to resurrect that program. So if you know of anybody who may wish to serve as a block captain for their street or their general area, I would love to hear from them. I'm compiling a list for the police department, so that my email link will be included in the thing that I send to Howard. So I hope you can all help with that. And I sit on the board of the Military Heritage Museum. We're going to be having an event there on the 21st to the 24th at the new museum, which will be where they're interviewing former veterans who have been in combat, and that's going to be broadcast, and that's going to be a great event. Also, we're going to be doing advanced tours, invitational tours, and I'm going to be putting an invitation in all of your mailboxes for you to all join. There's like 5 or 6 different dates that you can select from, and it's going to be about a 90-minute tour, so if anybody in the audience would be interested in receiving one of those, see me after the meeting and I'll make sure you get one of those as well. But the museum is on track. They're planning on doing soft opening, ribbon cutting, end of March, early April, and it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be really, really cool.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Thank you.
Welcome. Jaha.
This Saturday at Punta Middle School, invite everyone to the MLK breakfast. It's going to be from 8 to 10:30 a.m. Cantor Brown, Dr. Cantor Brown, renowned Florida historian, is going to be speaking, and so it's going to be a very interesting event. Also, in March, there's going to be, don't have the date yet, but in March at Leroy's, there's going to be a March on Museums event, which the Florida Associated of Museums and Pleasure House Museum is going to have.
Can you say that more slowly? I was having trouble
apologies.
understanding you.
There's something called the March on Museums, and it's the month of March. The Florida Association of Museums is having events around the state and food-related events. So we're going to have a food-related event at Leroy's in March. So I'll let you know the next meeting on the date of that. But there's going to be a big event at Leroy's in
Okay.
March.
Do you have tickets for sale for the breakfast on Saturday?
I don't have physically, but online we have them, or they can be at the door. But
There is
House
one online?
Museum, yes, the Blanchard House Museum
Okay,
website.
okay.
Yes. That's all.
Thank you. All right. We're ready for citizens' comments. So anyone would like to comment on anything, then please come to the podium, and you have 3 minutes.
Wendy Mueller, I just would like to thank you for the new meter readers, water meter readers. Having a couple of properties that have had broken pipes from the meter to the home, and come back to a 3-4 week leakage that's $500, $600, $700. I got informed in 24 hours that my water was leaking at 10 or 20 gallons an hour, and I was away, but it only happened for 2 days. So I can't even bear to bring my water bill from that time to the water company, because I don't think I'd get a discount. It's that little, but it was that fast, and I was terribly impressed. I really, really thought that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Bob Talley, and my wife and I reside at 378 Monaco. I sent you an email. A lot of people come up here and they say their piece, and I think it's wonderful. But I think it's a good idea to find out, like, who they are. Now, this is not so much about pickleball, but we just had the Journey to the Future that, we attended, my wife and I. We loved it. It was wonderful. Now, there's gonna be charrettes, and people are gonna get up and they're gonna talk. Who are they? And where do they live? Are they a developer from Naples? Are they a builder from Venice? I think it's important we know who we're talking to. What we have here, I know it's beaten, but we don't need another Marriott, okay? We don't need that. I think we are in charge of the future, and we should be in charge of the future, not outsiders. And by the way, so far as the water thing goes, I had the same problem. I sent a letter, and they gave me a break on the sewage, and I saved a ton of money on the sewage, a detailed letter. And they'll look at it, and I saved over $100, so somebody had turned on my dock. I got a phone call. I know I didn't go down and turn it on, but the water at the dock, I sent a letter, and they saved me, I had to pay the water. It was like $180, but they gave me a big break on the septic, on the sewer. Thanks again. Appreciate the work you're doing, Howard, don't quit.
Thank you.
Nancy and I are very happy.
Thank you.
Hello, Kim Devine. Just wanted to thank you for the approval of vacation of the
Would
alley.
you please state your name, please?
Kim Devine.
Thank you.
And just an FYI, you can't really build, I couldn't build a fence back there because you need a 5-foot setback. So you were kind of talking about that. So you can't put anything permanent in that alley because you would need the 5-foot setback. So nothing's really going to happen there.
Thank you.
Hello again, Lori Lanehart from Banyan Point Condominiums, and I wanted to speak about the committee for the pickleball solutions. You all know the saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I bring that up in terms of when you look at selecting for your committee, I ask that somehow you figure out a pickleball representative that can represent all of us. Those who play pickleball, some of people who play pickleball are very passionate, and I'm not saying passion's a bad thing, it's a good thing. But like I was just recently approached by somebody who kind of tried to tell me that my point of view wasn't right when it comes to pickleball. So maybe I am a squeaky wheel and I would not be the right representative because I'm not open-minded enough to all opinions. But maybe you can find someone somehow who can represent all of us and keep an open mind as to all the solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Charlie Kautzman again. I'm not, I am pro gun shops, but I want to say the gun shop along 41 next to the auto dealerships, they use they use their storm shutters as security gates. And it just brings me into the thought of, it almost looks like Brooklyn without the graffiti, so if there's any, I don't know if there's any ordinance about using that, if they were to put it inside and be able to close the gates from the inside rather than having it on the outside like that, it really doesn't look very pleasant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
State your name.
Patty Allen, General Manager of Fisherman's Village. Excuse me. Excuse me. Going back to the very beginning, Councilmember Wine brought up this summit for Red Tide. And this past summer, even though the Red Tide was not in Upper Charlotte Harbor, we at Fisherman's Village definitely felt the effect, and it is public perception. We had many calls even from, let's say, Sarasota. Do you have Red Tide up there? I don't want to do outdoor dining. So we took it upon ourselves to work, as we always do with the Visitors Bureau. We elicited the help of Captain Ralph, and we did a various amount of videos to post so that people knew that we did not have Red Tide in Punta Gorda in Upper Charlotte Harbor. So I'm very glad that there is going to be a summit, and you will definitely have representation from Fisherman's Village. But I think that when you have red tide and it looks like that, everybody thinks that it's all over the place, when truly it wasn't. And it did impact business, even though, it definitely impacted my business during that time. And I'm sure it did many other people in Punta Gorda. So thank you, and I look forward to that.
You betcha, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Hi.
Good morning. It's
Pat Niles, I don't have to do that anymore. Pat Niles, Gateway Point. You're way ahead of me today, beating me at the punch with a lot of these questions that I had about the videos. I also encourage everyone to see the videos and watch them from Journey to the Future. It wasn't quite what I thought it might be. I thought that they were going to speak and tell us everything, and that isn't what happened. There were sessions where there were questions and answers from your fellow citizens. So it would be prudent, a good idea, to hear what questions they ask and how the questions were answered. So I thought that was really terrific. And also around the lunch, you got a chance to, with 8 other people, do a roundtable discussion of what was discussed in the morning. We didn't get a chance to say about Mr. Redmond's discussion, but we did about the morning discussion. So I thought that was very helpful, and it was very active at my table. So we didn't talk about the menu, we talked about what was going on. The other thing, I thought it was terrific how you beat me again on this one with FEMA discussion and how the city of Punta Gorda is reacting and relating and working with FEMA, which is very, very important. I was going to ask that today. But I can sort of get this one in, and it has to do with the meter readings. And I'm so glad other people went before me. Gateway Point had a major water break on Christmas Day. They worked through the whole day to clean it up. I've got videos showing what everybody did. But I did go to the water billing, I called them, the water billing collection department. They do answer their phone. It isn't something you're put on phone tag. They answer, they're knowledgeable, and they're helpful. And we know exactly the process that our board of directors, what we're to do. It was cascading water, and they're gonna run out here. I'm hoping that when you talk with your technician that's going to watch this, how is this notifying frame going to be? If the same thing happened, we are not under the new water system yet. The big ones are being done later. But I'm just curious of if the same scenario happened, what will be the reaction time, like say in the summertime when there's no one there at Gateway Point and the manager shows up at 8 in the morning. We were running around all day, right from dawn till dusk, digging it up, stopping it, and then going to the rest of the process. But I'm just wondering on these bigger places where these main water mains are running right on property, how that will be addressed in the future under your new plan.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Lynn Stockinger. I'm a resident of Punta Gorda, and I know most of you have probably received my letters already, but I do have just one concern that I would like you to address regarding the pickleball. We've had a lot of talk about sound abatement, but from my answers from you all, we have not even conducted a sound study to know exactly what the sound impact is, or if just the installation of landscaping and sound abatement material would solve the problem rather than kick it down the road to the library, which should be a place of solitude, and the residents there. Just because they're lower, housing structures, whatever the case may be, doesn't mean they should have to bear that burden. We have it established where it's at. Perhaps we could conduct an official sound study of some sorts. And that's all I want to ask.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? No? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.